BMW was initially defined by the 2002 because it was the biggest volume car, but I think it was also the purest expression of what a sports sedan is. And then the 3 Series came. Again, the pure expression of a sports sedan. 2002 updated to a new generation and a new time. And it was also our largest volume car, so it naturally defined the brand.
I think the agility, the performance, this combination of nothing too big, but with great suspension, great handling, great steering, and great response, embodies the brand very well. I mean, BMW is all about dynamics and agility.
The very nature of the 3 Series makes it ideal. It's relatively lightweight. It's not that wide. Agility and nimbleness can go up. It can carry a fair amount of wheel and tire for its size, if you will. So all those attributes, basically, from a physical standpoint, make it, in some sense, easier to achieve fantastic handling and fantastic steering, fantastic braking within the package.
BMW has had a heritage of racing throughout its life. Long before the 3 Series of the 2002 came along, BMW was a company that raced what it built.
BMW had an awareness problem in 1975. And one of the ways that we addressed the awareness problem was through motorsports, which was a very natural thing because that was an important part of the heritage of the company. And we came up with, I think, what was the most exciting race car that BMW ever had, was the 320 Turbo. In keeping with the BMW tradition, this 3 Series surprised everybody because it was a relatively boxy look, great aerodynamics, great graphics on it, and this engine, which was a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that produced enormous amounts of horsepower. And did great things like when you let up on the throttle, it would belch flames from the side. It had great noise, the power would come on tremendously. And David was a very, very competitive driver with it, and we won a lot of races, and I think attracted an enormous amount of attention.
Every BMW that we've raced, particularly here in the U.S., has been based on a pure production car. We don't start with a plastic body or a silhouette shape or something. We take a production car and a production engine and build them up for racing. So it says a lot about the good basic engineering that exists in a BMW, that it forms this strong basis for a successful race car.
So 3 Series racing is sort of, again, part of the authentic nature of the 3 Series, authentic nature of BMW.
It was 1987 when the first M3 came out in the United States.
Which looked very much like a race car. It was very flared, and it had a sort of an exaggerated spoiler, and it looked really, I think, more at home on the racetrack than it did on the street.
This was done so that they could race the car in that form. So it's what's often referred to as a homologation special, where you design in some of these race car features on the street car and build it as a production car.
It had an engine block which was virtually identical to the BMW F1 World Championship engine.
When you think about the E36, the important thing to remember is what was going on in the market when the model was introduced. It was 1991. The whole luxury performance market was in a sales slump. BMW was in a serious sales slump. Lexus had just entered the market and established itself as a real viable contender. So there was a lot going on in the market, and it was a time when BMW really had to reassert itself as the performance sedan ultimate driving machine company. The good news is that the E36 was a terrific car. The styling was much more sophisticated than the previous generations. It had evolved from a real boxy style that had come from the 2002 through the first two generations of the 3 Series into more of an elegant design. And there's even some styling cues on that car, like the little spoiler line across the trunk that went on to the next generation and can even be seen in the E90. So it started to look like a more sophisticated and more subtle car. The engines got better. We had a 2.5-liter engine, dual overhead cam, new multi-link rear suspension in the car. So the sophistication continued to evolve and continued to support the ultimate driving machine positioning. We've won this huge succession of awards from Car and Driver, with the 3 Series being one of the 10 best cars for 14 or 15 years. And it really started with that model.
I think the growth of the 3 Series into several body styles has been one of the keys to its success. When the 3 Series was first launched, it was only a 2-door sedan, and it wasn't for quite a while until the next generations offered 4-door sedans, offered a pure 2-door coupe, a wagon, a convertible, and an M3. But I think the reason that they all work so well as sport sedans is the philosophy of the company. I mean, the company's philosophy is, you know, everything we build has to meet certain standards as a BMW. It has to deliver a certain performance, a certain feel, a certain driving experience. So we're not going to take, you know, a winning combination that's in a 3 Series and build, say, a wagon off of it that would be more luxury